Hello everyone. In today's math video, we are going to be practicing dividing 4-digit by 1-digit numbers. So let's take a look at our first problem. We'll zoom up so we can see a little better. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem here. 1,227 divided by 4. So let's rewrite that over here. So we'll do our 4. And we're thinking how many 4s fit into 1,227. Okay, so let's start with the thousands. How many 4s can fit into 1,000 evenly? Well, 4 doesn't fit into 1 if I skip count by 4s. So let's put our 0 there. And you have a couple options. You can just kind of skip the 4 times 0, take away 0 equals 1 because that 1 will stay. Or you can just look at the 1 and the 2 together as 12. So let's see. This is why you can skip this part and look at the 1 and 2 for 12. Because 4 times 0 is 0. If you subtract, you're still left with a 1. And then the last step is bringing down your 2. So you see how you're still left with that 12 that you started with? So if you ever have a 0 up here, you can just combine those next two numbers. So now let's go back. Divide. 12 divided by 4. How many 4s fit into 12? Well, if we skip count by 4, 4, 8, 12, that was 3. So 3 4s is 12. Let's subtract. 12 take away 12 is 0. Okay, then our last step there is bringing down the next number. So in this case, the 2. So now let's take a look. How many 4s can fit into 2? 0. I cannot skip count by 4 to get to 2. It's important that I put my 0 up here. Now, 0 times 4 is 0. So 2 minus 0 is 2. And bring down my 7. Now you see how that was 0? We could have just combined this 7 and saved ourselves one extra step. But that's okay. So now we're at 27. How many 4s can fit into 27? Let's see. What about 4 times 5? No, that's 20. 4 times 6. Ooh, 24. 4 times 7, 28. Oh, 7's too many, so I need to use 6. So 6 times 4 is 24. Let's subtract to see how many I have left. 7 take away 4 is 3. 2 take away 2 is 0. And let's see, no more numbers to bring down. So I am left with 3 left over. We call that remainder 3. So 1,227 divided by 4 is 306 with a remainder of 3. And remember, to check your work, you do 306, your answer, times your divisor, which you divided by, and then you would add your remainder. Okay? And if we're going to estimate, we could have said that 1,200 was about 1,200 because 4 fits into 12 nicely. And I know that 4 times 3 gives me 12. Attach my 2 zeros, 300. So if I estimated, I would estimate 300. My actual quotient, my actual answer is 306. So they're pretty close. And because they're close, we call that being reasonable. All right, let's do one more practice problem. I'm going to grab my eraser. Let's erase this so it doesn't get in our way. I wonder if there's a one-click button to erase everything. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so now let's take a look at, let's try number, let's go over to number, let's do number 2. So 2 is how many 5s can fit into 2,438. 2,438. Okay, same thing as 2,438 divided by 5. So let's start with our highest place, the thousands. How many fives can fit into 2 or 2,000? Well, we can't do it in the thousands, so 5 does not fit into 2. So we would have to put a 0. Okay, and if we did 5 times 0, it would be 0. Do your subtraction, and now I'm left with 2. So now I'll bring down the 4. Now remember, because this was 0, I could have just looked at these two numbers. That was the trick we could have done. So now I have a new number to divide. Okay, instead of 2,000, I now have 24 hundreds. So how many 5s can fit into 24? Well, 5 times 5 is 25. That's too many, so let's go one less than 5. 4. 5 times 4 would be 20. So 4 times 5 is 20. That's how many I just used. Let's subtract to see how many I have left. 4 take away 0 is 4. 2 take away 2 is 0. Don't have to do the 0. Okay. Am I done? Do I have a remainder of 4? Well, I'm not done, and yes, I do have a remainder of 4, but now I can combine my 4 hundreds with my 3 tens. Okay, so now it becomes 43 tens. So now how many 5s can fit into 43? Well, I know 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 9 is 45. Oh, 9 is too many, so I'm going to use 8. So let's put an 8 up here. 8 times 5 is 40. Let's subtract. I have 3 left over. 4 take away 4 is 0. Okay, so now I need to bring down my 8. So I have 3 tens and 8 ones. So now I have 38 ones. And let's see how many 5s can fit into 38. Well, we just said 5 times 8 is 40. So 8 would be too many. We'll try about 5 times 7. 5 times 7 would be 35, so that would work. So let's put our 35 here. And let's subtract. 8 take away 5 is 3. 3 take away 3 is 0. So my answer, my quotient, is 487 with 3 left over. Left over we call remainder. So remainder 3. So there's my answer. And you could take this number, multiply it. So take your quotient, your answer, multiply it by your divisor, which you divided by, come up with your product, your answer, and you would add the remainder of 3, and you should come back out to this number. Tell you what, let's estimate, because estimating is pretty quick and easy. So 5 goes into 24 not so nicely, but 5 goes into 25 nicely. So let's round this up to 25 with 2 zeros, which would be 2,500 or 2,500. Now I can estimate easily. 5 goes into 25 5 times, and then I would attach my 2 zeros. So 5 times 500 is 2,500, or 2,500 or 2,500 divided by 5 gives me 500. Is 500 close to 487? It is. When I'm up here in the hundreds and I'm only off by 13, that's not too bad of an estimate. That's pretty close. So because my estimate is close, it's reasonable, meaning my answer is reasonable. It makes sense. Well, there you go. We just did 2 problems on dividing a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number. We learned that you can check your answer, your quotient, by multiplying the quotient to the divisor and then adding the remainder. We also practiced estimating to see if your answer is reasonable or close. Well, I hope that helps. And as always, good luck and have fun doing math.